Ladies and gentlemen, imagine waking up every morning with a sense of certainty, a sense of purpose, a belief that today is not just another day. It's an opportunity to grow, to serve, to become more of who you were created to be. But let's be honest, most mornings don't feel that way. Most mornings we wake up with stress, with worry. We check our phones before we check in with ourselves. We carry the weight of yesterday into today, and before we've even started, we're already exhausted. But what if there was a way to reset? What if before the chaos, before the distractions, we could anchor ourselves in something bigger? There is. It's been there all along, a simple psalm. A few lines of truth, a reminder that we are not alone, that there is a path, a guide, a foundation that can shape our day before the world even has a chance to. Take Psalm 23, "The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want." That's not just a verse, it's a mindset. It's a declaration that you are already provided for, that you lack nothing. And when you start your day believing that, something shifts, your posture changes, your thoughts align differently. Or Psalm 46:10, "Be still and know that I am God." Be still. Before you react, before you rush, be still. Because when you do, you remember who's really in control. When we start our day this way, not with worry but with faith, not with fear but with trust, something happens. We don't just survive the day, we move through it with confidence. We don't just react to life, we lead it. And here's the thing, when we shift how we start, we shift how we live. Our days begin to look different. We become the kind of people who inspire, who uplift, who stand firm even when the world shakes, not because we are stronger, but because we are standing on something unshakable. So tomorrow morning, before anything else, start here. Watch how everything else follows. Watch how God moves. The moment you wake up, your mind begins to set the course for the day ahead. Before your feet even touch the floor, your first thoughts have already started shaping your attitude, your energy, and the way you will respond to whatever comes next. If the first thing you do is check your phone, read emails, or scroll through the news, your mind immediately shifts into reaction mode, absorbing stress, worry, and distractions before you've even had a chance to center yourself. But imagine starting differently. Imagine waking up and taking a deep breath, acknowledging that today is a gift, that you are here for a reason, and that there is something greater at work in your life. Instead of being pulled into urgency, you step into purpose. Instead of reacting, you lead. What you focus on in the first moments of the day becomes the lens through which you see everything else. When you wake up with gratitude, you carry that perspective into your conversation. When you begin with faith, challenges don't feel as overwhelming. When you remind yourself of truth, you become less swayed by fear and uncertainty. The world moves fast, and it will always try to dictate your thoughts before you even have a chance to choose them. But you do have a choice. You can start with stillness instead of chaos. You can begin with intention instead of distraction. You can set the tone for your day instead of letting the world set it for you. Because how you start isn't just about the morning, it's about who you become throughout the day. The moment the alarm goes off, the mind starts racing. Deadlines, responsibilities, unfinished tasks. Before we've even stepped out of bed, stress creeps in, filling the space meant for peace. It's easy to let the weight of the day settle in before the day has even begun. The pressures, the expectations, the unknowns, they all demand attention, pulling focus away from what truly matters. But what if the first thoughts of the day weren't about what's missing, what's wrong, or what's uncertain? What if the first thought was a choice? A conscious decision to embrace peace instead of stress. Peace isn't the absence of challenges. It's the ability to remain steady despite them. It's the deep understanding that no matter what the day holds, there is something greater holding you. Stress is often an automatic response, but peace is a deliberate one. It requires a shift in focus, a willingness to let go of what can't be controlled, and a trust that the day will unfold exactly as it should. It means beginning with gratitude, anchoring in faith, and choosing to believe that today is not something to fear, but something to embrace. The world will always give reasons to worry. There will always be something unfinished, something unknown, something demanding attention. But within every morning, there is a moment, a brief, powerful space to decide how the day will begin. And in that moment, peace is always an option. Words alone can be forgotten, dismissed, or ignored, but words that carry truth, words that hold power, words that speak directly to the soul, those become something more. Scripture is not just ink on a page, not just phrases passed down through generations. It is a foundation, something solid to stand on when everything else feels unsteady. Life is unpredictable, emotions shift, circumstances change, challenges come without warning. Without a foundation, it's easy to feel tossed around, uncertain, overwhelmed. But Scripture offers something different. It offers stability, clarity, and a constant reminder of what is true, no matter what is happening around us. It's not about just reading the words, it's about allowing them to shape the way we think, the way we act, the way we move through the world. When fear tries to creep in, Scripture reminds us that we are not alone. When doubt whispers that we are not enough, Scripture speaks a greater truth about our purpose and worth. When the weight of the world feels too heavy, Scripture offers rest, strength, and renewal. It doesn't change based on feelings or circumstances. It is unshakable, always there, always true. Every great structure stands on a strong foundation. Without it, even the most impressive buildings crumble. The same is true for life. Without something solid to stand on, it's easy to be swayed by fear, confusion, or the expectations of the world. But when Scripture is the foundation, there is confidence in every step, direction in every decision, and peace that no storm can shake. There is a deep sense of security in knowing that nothing is missing, that everything needed is already provided. Yet so often, life feels like a constant pursuit, chasing after more, striving for what feels just out of reach. Worry sets in about the future, about whether there will be enough, whether we are enough. But Psalm 23 begins with a truth that shifts everything. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. It's not just a poetic line, it's a declaration of sufficiency, a reminder that in God's care, nothing is lacking. A shepherd provides, protects, and leads. The sheep don't wake up wondering where their next meal will come from, or if they will find their way. They trust the shepherd, and in that trust they find rest. This is the kind of assurance Psalm 23 offers. Not that life will be without challenges, but that even in uncertainty, there is no true lack. The things that matter most, peace, purpose, guidance, love, are not things to be chased, they are things already given. Still waters, green pastures, restoration of the soul, these are not just nice ideas, they are realities that come with surrendering the need to control and instead trusting in the one who already knows the way. Even in the darkest valleys, even when circumstances suggest otherwise, there is a shepherd leading, providing, sustaining. Scarcity is a mindset, but so is sufficiency. When Psalm 23 becomes more than words, when it becomes a belief, worry loses its power and striving turns into resting. Because when the shepherd is trusted, the heart can finally be at peace. The first moments of the day are more powerful than we realize. They shape our thoughts, our emotions, and our ability to handle whatever comes next. When the day begins in chaos, rushing, reacting, filling the mind with stress, the rest of the day tends to follow that pattern. Frustrations feel bigger, small inconveniences feel overwhelming, and the ability to respond with patience and wisdom becomes harder. But when the day starts with intention, with stillness, gratitude, prayer, or reflection, there is a shift. The mind is clearer, the heart is steadier, and challenges don't feel as intimidating. Instead of reacting to the world, there is a sense of control, a deep confidence in the ability to respond with purpose rather than impulse. Every situation in life presents a choice, to react or to respond. Reaction is immediate, often fueled by emotion, and sometimes regrettable. Response, on the other hand, is thoughtful, intentional, and rooted in something deeper. The ability to respond well is not developed in the moment of pressure. It is developed long before, in the way the day begins. A morning filled with stress leads to a day where patience runs thin. A morning filled with gratitude leads to a day where challenges are met with perspective. A morning filled with worry leads to a day where fear dictates decisions. A morning filled with faith leads to a day where trust outweighs doubt. How the day starts isn't just about those first few moments, it's about the ripple effect that follows, The way the morning is approached becomes the way conversations are handled, the way obstacles are faced, the way the world is seen. It's not about control over circumstances, it's about control over how they are met. And that begins before anything else does.